everyone once again. Thank you so much for your patience. Thank you for, I hope you are having a great time today. So I know we talked about work-life balance, and many of us, it's kind of like very easy. We're able to kind of juggle our work-life balance well with what we do. While some of us will actually struggle in terms of my work-life balance, I don't really have like a limit. I bring my work to home and I bring my, what is happening in my personal life to my work. So now we're going to invite our expertise here just to, kind of tell us how they've been juggling, how they have been managing their, work-life balance, and everything is still going great with them, and they are still looking well. They are performing well in what they do. So that's what we're going to do now in terms of inviting our guest speakers. So if you have any question in mind, we have a couple of questions to ask them to help us to elaborate. What have you been doing in terms of, managing the job, the family, children, work, and everything, You are still on top of everything. So we're going to invite them. Before that, I just give it to my colleague here, the CEO. I call her CEO. So she will say a brief thing as well, just like I explained, and then what is like work-life balance. Then we'll invite our guest speakers to the front.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. I hope you're having fun. Yes. And I believe that all of you today, before you leave here, at least you will take one thing or the other with you home. And I pray for you that your business will be increased. You will be more productive after you leave this place today in Jesus' name. Amen. Now, we're talking about different things about our employees and employers since morning. And we just want to, share our individual experience about our works, both the management directors, the SEO, and every one of us, both the front workers in our individual companies. And sometimes we tend to forget ourselves sometimes when we say we love our jobs, but does our jobs love us? Does our job tell us where to stop? Does it tell us to say, okay, I think I have time now to book a place for myself, just one person on the table for myself, table for one. Maybe we go to a restaurant or we go on holiday, or we find somewhere to enjoy ourselves. So today we are not going to use the slides, but we're going to have on our panels here to ask some questions. And I believe at the end of the day we'll be able to take one thing or the other home today. And I will ask my sister to start from her hand to ask her own questions. Then I will take a turn after her. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Come forward. We don't have our, where's that brush? Because she has all the, to give all the accolades and everything. So, yeah. So she's gonna be.
You can use this.
All right, thank you. So what we're talking about, like what my colleague and I just talked about, is like work-life balance. So we want to bring the expertise how they've been doing it. What are the things that my sister just mentioned about? Have you ever treated yourself well? What have you done? Many of us about everyone supporting people. What have you done for yourself? For you yourself. Have you taken yourself out to say, okay, I just want to have dinner, I just want for myself. So now we're going to call out our esteemed Mr. Shola Adu is one of our panelists. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. All right, and the next one we have is a Professor Melody. All right, thank you so much. And yes, we have another one here, Mr. Kayode Obishola, one of our panelists. Thank you. As it's coming forward, we have us. Yes, at least must have heard from her before we went for the launch. Mrs. Tino Ashaye, let us welcome her. Okay. And yes, we have our esteemed Tolubali, which we're going to hear from her soon here. Let us give.
Yeah.
All right, thank you very much. So we have a few questions here, and just get ready to ask. We just want to ask them these questions. Use their expertise. What have they been doing? You can see they are all still looking great, and they are doing a lot in their respective, jobs, companies. Many of them are CEO. They have 2 companies. They are doing well. So we just have this couple of questions. So the first one we have about like a personal strategy. So we're gonna go to Mr. Shola, I will explain that. I'll just ask the question. Can you share some of your personal strategies for achieving work-life balance?
Thank you very much. I think I'll start with a personal experience that's changed my life totally about maintaining some level of work. And it's not easy, I'll tell you. We can talk all the English we want there about work-life balance, but it's easier said. So I think it was 2003, 2004, thereabouts. I was in brand management and in GSK. I've done a lot of things. I keep going back to GSK because it was, a greater part of my work life. And they brought this new marketing director, because it's a global company, so they will always bring people from all over the world to lead or share experiences. Mark Wagstaff, I can't ever forget his name. He joined us June of that year. And he reorganized the department of marketing and told all of us to submit our leave plan if we had not done it. Very simple. And Mark had barely worked with us for 3 weeks, and he said he's going on holiday. And we're all, hello, Mark, you just came. How can you be going on holiday? Oh, sorry guys, I planned my holiday already, I gotta go. And that was it. There was no apology. And he said to us, all of you, as I'm going, send your leave plan, I want to see it. And you cannot stay in the office once it is time for you to go on holiday. And I thought back to all the people I've worked with, thought back to the experiences I've had. And I just couldn't put it together. And just is structured, and that is a structured environment. You can imagine where there is no structure at all. Well, we always plan leave, but we will not go now. Because you have something that you didn't finish, or something that you still have to just complete before you go. And there was a guy just joining us, and we thought, it was going to be everything, and then he just left. And by the time he was coming back, he had said, okay, this is the time you planned your leave. Go. Just drop everything and go. And you found out that nothing failed. So you realize that when you are not there, the work will continue. So since that year, even if I didn't have a definite plan to go on holiday, I will still get out of the office and just take a break, 10 days. Usually you have, just you have 20 to 25 days, depending on the level you are at, 20, 25 days in a year, which you must take as far as Mark was concerned. So you can structure it 5 days, 10 days, you can take, they discourage you going all the 25 days at once. Because, like one of my bosses would say, if you can leave your job for 30 days, that means the organization does not need you. So that's another story and another reality. Yeah. So if you can leave it for 30 days, 35 days, the organization really does not need you. So that would stay at the back of your mind. So but you also need to balance it and go on holiday. So from that time till today, and I work for myself more now than anything, I still go on holiday. We started planning holiday with the family. So I would take my holiday around the long period break for the children. Then my youngest, who is now a big man, was about 3 years old. And we had not planned to go outside the country. There was no immediate plan to go. So we decided to do a tour of Western Nigeria. And we put a car on the road. You know, we had this new car then, what they call the end of discussion. So myself, my wife, and 3 children that we had, we still have. They are all big now. He was about 3 then in 2004, the youngest. And we just got into the car. And we were on the road. We moved from Ibadan to Osogbo, to Ilesha, to Ijesha. We visited all the sites in Western Nigeria. We went as far as Nitori. And we would spend 2 days. Our longest drive would be like 2-3 hours in a day, max. I would take a break, go to a hotel. And it was one of the greatest bonding times I've ever had. A 3-year-old boy remembers that. The guy is about 23, going on about 23 years now. He remembers it till today. That singular experience. And what we've done after that is that every 2 years, we will do a trip outside Nigeria. But within the year, we'll try to do one within Nigeria. Unfortunately, we couldn't continue the trips in Nigeria because security became an issue. Because those are some of the areas we want to go. We want to go to Yankari, we want to go. I mean, I did as far as going up to the mountains, Cross River State, Ogudu, and all those places. And they are beautiful places in this country. You don't have to go out. So that is on one side about taking holiday. Make sure you try to do it. It helps to bond the family. Now, having said that, you get to positions where there is more demand on your time for work. So what do you do? Personally, you have to make those moments that you have count. So the moments could be after work, you get home, try to get home early. So rather than stay in the office till 8 p.m., close at 5 for goodness sake, and get home for 6 or 6:30. And it's become a habit for me. Most people that know me will tell me, Shola is in his house by 8 o'clock. Hardly ever do you see me outside my house after 8. Hardly. Unless maybe there's something very pressing that I have to do outside. And so the moments you have, you make them count. And those are the things that are key. Because I recall one of the trainings we had where they asked us to feel some things about what we thought about ourselves and how we were managing the balance with the family. So they also asked us to give the addresses or the contact for our family, 1 or 2 that don't mind answering questions, you know, about who or what we thought we were. And so you would write what you think about yourself. Then your family member, your colleagues at work, whether at your peer level, below you and above you, would also respond to the same questions that you answered. And they compared those questions, the way you answered and the way that the people around you answered the same question about yourself. And it was instructive. We think we are working for our family. We think. Honestly, my daughter, who is very vocal, Kylie can speak, you know, about my daughter. She will tell you to your face. Was one of the people I put there because I also wanted to hear. Maybe my wife would have been more, she would have patted me more on the back and not have said everything. But my daughter put it out there. And you find that they would rather have you around than what you think you are doing to make them more comfortable. So, as a rule, until tomorrow, My daughter is going to be 30 in November. When I enter the house, I still hug her. I mean, as in, from when they were young, I would hug them for two reasons. I would hug them because I love them. But I also hug them because it helps me to know how they are feeling. You would know because you hug somebody whether the person's temperature is high or low. You would know if you are not feeling well. And you will know if they don't hug you back the way that there's something wrong.
We are taking care of ourselves and we are practicing a good working lifetime for ourselves. My next question will go to our auntie, Professor Olajumoke. My question goes like this. It's about company culture. Ma, how does your company promote a healthy work-life balance for the employees?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. I'm Professor Olajumoke Familoni. I'm the founder and the CEO of iCloud Business School here in Lekki, Lagos, and also extension in the US. We know it was interesting listening to Mr. Shola when he was giving it, and I was thinking, okay, I kind of envied his about the trips in Nigeria. I was like, gosh, have I missed out on something? Because I can say that that wasn't something that I have experienced. So I was envying that. I was hoping that wasn't going to be my question. So thank you for that. Now, I'm in a business school. We're in our 21st year of existence, and the culture has now Martin Bank then was the bank at that time, was in Nigeria in the 80s. And I experienced working there in 95. That was my only state in Nigeria, worked 95. And then I went back again. So looking at the culture that I experienced there, looking at the culture that I've experienced overseas, and I'm trying to say, okay, now, what kind of culture can we give this culture of work-life balance in our organization? It's tough. That's the reality. And you have to see where they're coming from. You know, in American culture, you can't just go in and say you're opening a file, you sit down and expect to pay without nothing to show for the time you've worked. That is our culture, that is what they're used to here. Just end of the month, I'll get paid. And when you now say something like, can you let yourself appraise yourself? What are the metrics I'm going to use to appraise you on what you have done? Do you know they couldn't talk? So I said, okay, let me help you. In the course of the month, this is what you're expected to do. We're going to go out. You're going to, and there's certain things that some of the staff law. They allow the part where I'm being invited to be a key speaker in the event, and the law being treated with the form and urgency of that. That you see some. So see, this month, this is what they like. Okay, this is where I invite you to. There's some that will say, can you club meetings? What did we discuss in these meetings and all that? They don't show up. So somebody else does it. So, you are caught between saying, did you just not want to do it, or you didn't understand what you're supposed to do? Then they will give you all the excuses in Nigeria. My data finished, and there was no lights, and there was no. So we are saying, how do I now encourage in the midst of those challenges? How do I encourage my people to function and be productive? Okay, I'm going to send you data. I'm going to send you data. I'm going to, we have a meeting, and when you do one thing that I like, and we appreciate, we're going to go on our forum and say, can we all appreciate so and so for what she did? Well, I recognize that one thing they all love, which is common to everyone, is because I get invited to forums a lot to speak and lecture. They all love that. So that has become something that everybody rallies, and I bring that in for my staff. Now, I was hoping that you would ask me about myself too. How do I, in the midst of all this, in the midst of all the hard work that we do, we're having a business school, we're operating in, we're looking at everybody's, the time zone in America, the time zone in the UK, with students all over the globe, and all that. I just time out for myself. And I started the notion of what time did you clock in, what time did you come, so that everybody now feels more relaxed in terms of their work schedule. Just log in, what time did you do? No, how many hours did you use on this work? You don't have to spend the whole day. Just now is not assignment and productivity. So we appreciate that. For me, I don't work on Fridays. I take my Fridays off. I release myself from anything. I do my spa appointments. That's the must. I didn't do yesterday because of the rains. I purposely canceled. But I don't joke with all those things that make me go there, relax, get my massage, get my whatever, and all the stuff that comes with it, and I relax myself. I no longer just take on appointments anymore. I just cut on what I do or what I want to do or where I want to be. It's now my choice. I'm almost 70 years old in a couple of years. Wow. So I thought that at this point, it's all about what makes me comfortable. I'm not caring about what anybody else thinks at that point. It's not really anymore. Thank you.
I'm going to ask you something about support system. So the question is that what role do support system like family, friends, mentor play in your work-life balance?
Oh, wow. Thank you. That question is huge, and support system is actually what has made me who I am and what has brought me to where I am. So we can never underestimate the importance of support system. That support system will vary depending on from individual to individual. But for me, my family, my mother in particular, my friends, my colleagues, they play very crucial roles in my life. So I will say something about my mom in terms of support system and work-life balance. I was only able to retrain because my mother came round. I said earlier that I live in England. So my mother came round and stayed with me for 4 years. And that was because my kids were very little then. So that helped me to then go to study. And when I graduated, my friend said, look, Tinuke, all your salary should be going to your mom every month at the end of every month, because without her, we would never have been able to do it. So the support system is great for me. It's key, very important. Also in terms of friends, in terms of colleagues, just to kind of get some emotional support, to kind of get some kind of motivation. And it's give and take. You give and you take. So yeah, support system absolutely important. Whatever that looks like, whatever works for you, then do it. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Can I just add something to the support system? Sorry, I don't know the procedure, I'm just getting there. The reason why support system beyond what you just described is quite important is your colleagues, your friends. Shola and I went to recently, we usually go cycling. You get people to just come around you and play games in your houses, or if you want to go watch movies. A lot of the life balance thing they say can be expensive, but a lot of them can be very cheap or free. So part of the support system is to keep good company, go out, chill out, and I think it will help balance your life. That's just a quick one to add.
Thank you so much, sir.
Tell them we used to go dancing too.
Oh yeah, dancing.
Thank you so much. My next question now goes back to you, sir, if you don't mind. And my question is all about the leadership. Now, in your workplace, as a leader, how do you set up an example of a work-life balance?
Okay.
A good example of, you know, a leader as you are, and probably guess you've been in the industry for a century, and you should be able to you should be able to know, you know, what did you use? How did you manage? How did you do it as a leader
Okay.
in the work balance?
This is what I'm
Work-life
saying.
balance.
Work-life balance.
Yes.
I think, to be honest, I don't think I'm qualified to answer that question in the Nigerian context.
Okay.
Like the professor, I really have never worked in Nigeria. Okay, so but I have seen things, and we have set up a few, or at least 1 or 2 companies, and we have seen how people work. And I realized that balancing your life and work in, why do I say Nigeria? Let me just say Lagos. Let me say Lagos. Lagos is where I know. It's really very difficult unless it comes from the leaders. We personally, I don't know if it's good or bad, we use our foreign experience to do what we do. If we don't go to work every day, well, we don't have to. But then again, when they are there, we try and force them to leave work. They're meant to stay there till 5 o'clock. Sometimes if there's nothing going on, we encourage them to go home. It was one of the ladies' birthday last week, or this week ending, and we have promised that we'll take the whole team out for a meal. It doesn't have to be at the top restaurant. I think we were even arguing if we go to the streets, buka, whatever. So those kind of things, if you are an employee in Lagos, it will be very difficult for you to ensure your balance. But if you are a leader or an employer, you can cascade it down. Stop working. Switch off the generators, because I know some people actually stay and work till 8, 9 o'clock to charge their phones. It's not that they're doing anything. Or they're very worried about going over to the darkness. So the leader can close off. When you spend 20 hours at work, you're not being productive at all. It's a lot of diminishing returns, economics will tell you. So, as a leader, shall I just share his own personal experience? The same thing too, if I hadn't traveled abroad, I'll be honest with you, I would think it was a waste of money taking breaks. But when you stayed there, the only travel that we were making was London, Lagos, London, Lagos. Until a few years later, everybody was talking about holidays, and my children were, So you're forced. I don't think there's that kind of force within Lagos. But shall I use examples that you can do it in Lagos or in Nigeria? You can, but take safety into consideration. So if I give a summary statement, it's going to be something like, those who are in leadership position, enshrine it, practice it, teach it, and watch your employers or employees do it.
Thank you so much.
If I could just chip in on this issue about the generator being switched off. I was on secondment for some time to Belgium, yesterday, and because my family was not with me, I tended to work more for longer hours, because going home alone, you didn't want to stay at home. So I recall, a few times the security guy had come, because everybody closed. I mean, nobody was in the office, but I'll stay back, and just continue doing stuff, just to keep myself busy, I think, until I was sure that I would be late enough to go home and just go to bed or something. So when they observed that I used to stay for longer hours, they will switch off everything. They will switch off the heater, they will switch off the lights, just the one in my office would remain on. So I will be forced to just pack my bag and go home. Honestly, after some time, I had to develop some other things to do to use that time for. So I'll go for classes to learn French. I'll go, that way, you use the time better rather than just deceiving yourself that, because ultimately you sit down in the office, you are not really productive, you just wanted to while away the time. And often you would find that many people that stay back in the office, it's not so much, maybe they are having quarrel at home and they don't want to go.
Exactly.
Honestly,
They don't have anybody.
they don't have anybody to help. So please use it for something else. Even if it's not the time that you are. I know HR has a lot to say. I'm sure you have a lot of experience in that area. But seriously, many people just waste time in the office and don't go for different reasons.
Thank you very much, sir. Honestly speaking, this is a time that every one of us has to promote this kind of thing into our community. Because you see so many of our people, even back in where we come from, in UK, US, we see many of our people that overwork themselves only because they want to build houses in Nigeria, they don't have time for themselves, and we hear a lot of things, a lot of dead people, a lot of things that's happening over there. Please, as much as possible, take a time out for yourself. Don't do work that will kill you. It's not the end of the world. What is going to be is going to be in any way. Thank you so much as you listen.
Thank you so much. That's very, very important. Work-life balance is very, very important, of course. Like what Awepurashola was talking. If you are away, of course, the job will still continue. So think about yourself. It's very, very important. So the next question now goes to our guest speaker, to Lubali. So it's about the long-term goal. So the question is this: how do you balance the demands of your career with long-term personal goal and aspiration?
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Lubali, creative director, 227. I apologize for coming late. How do I balance
Number 16. How do you balance
the demands of my career with long-term personal growth? With me, I always set a focus for myself. I have my plans, my 3 years plan and my 5 years plan, and that's what I always work with. And in my organization as well, in as much as we are still the SME, a small enterprise, we're still able to have a little bit of structure to know what we're going to do every year and periodically. Fortunately, I work on the fashion business whereby we have to keep producing keep producing during summer, winter, and autumn as well. So for my long-term goal, when I started 207, I've always known I want to go into real estate. So I gave myself a certain time, like 5 years, to find my foot in fashion before I eventually delve into real estate. And obviously, with time and different instances, you might not be able to achieve that purpose within the 5 years. So it's okay for you to still move it forward, but as long as you know you're still going towards the right direction. So I moved it forward for extra 1 year, and I didn't let the noise and the accolades I was getting in the fashion industry to affect my goal, because I know beyond fashion, I see myself as a real estate mogul. I see myself as someone that wants to achieve more in life. And I do not see myself still making clothes for people in my 40s, like making individual clothes. Maybe mass production, yes. So my focus from day one has not deviated, because like I said, it's 2 goals: go into real estate and start a fast fashion business. So I'm going to take a very short story. So at the beginning of my career, obviously I had all the hypes, to buy. If I wasn't focused, I would have deviated and get carried away with the noise and not remember that at some point we're not going to be 20, you won't be 30, you won't be 40. We can't be going to the market and be looking for feathers to put on clothes. I used to travel to China, but I still travel to China and Turkey a lot, and I know I have a child. I still have goals. So I see myself in my 50s carrying bags on my head, trying to buy buttons, trying to buy this. No. So I make sure that every morning when I wake up, my goal is to go from 227 fashion to 227 homes, and that never changed. So I was able to achieve that. Well, I'm in the process, but like I did the bit, so I'm in the process. And after 7 years in fashion, I started my real estate business, and that's the power of focus. the power of not delaying, and the power of knowing that these are your plans, your long-term future plans. So even as a staff, if you're working in any organization and you know that you do not intend to stay there for a very long time, you know you have your goal to become a medical doctor, and you're probably like probably still working as a customer service care. Do not let your condition determine what you have planned for yourself in the future, because you always have to remember that the goal is to get to the end. It's not just the beginning. The beginning is very easy. The end is the end goal. That's your mission. Regarding the other goal I have, which is my mass production line. A lot of people were like, no, so we want to always see your red carpet, blah, blah, blah. But I've learned the power of noise. When the drum is beaten and you keep dancing, at some point the drummer will be tired. So you have to always understand that it's not about the current dance, it's about what you can sustain. So the only thing I know I can sustain is the fact that, okay, now I'm doing this, I'm on red carpet, everybody's red carpet, she's making up for celebrity. The young girl, the same. In politics, they probably don't, but in fashion, they do. And these young people, the Gen Z, they're not going to sit there and just be on the same level with you. So I learned that too, and I got the advice from someone, because at the beginning of my career too, I was always happy to dress different people, and someone would do it complimentary without getting paid. And a colleague of mine said to me that, listen, I've been in this industry for a decade, 10 years, and if you keep doing some things for free, thinking because that the Lord really told, they're only coming to you because they want to wear you and they know you're available, people pleasing. So I thought about that, okay, and I held that this guy, he said, because if any of these brands you go down, they'll move to the next brand. Moreover, I said, if there's a new kid on block, they'll move to the new kid on block. Have a plan for yourself. Make yourself valuable, that when people come to you that, let me wear your clothes and tag you, they can't even come to you to say that because they know you're bringing value. So I like the power of value as well. So I thought about it that, okay, now at a certain stage you want to stop, not like stop, but you want to be like the bigger brands, like the Gucci, that they have their own patrol to make for people. However, they still do ready to wear. So I focused also on my ready to wear line, whereby no matter who you are, maybe you're in your 40s, your 10s, your 20s, your 60s, you still have a need for my brand. Because it's not just for red carpet anymore. Even my competitors too would have to buy my brand because I sell the basic essential needs. So those are the plans I had at the beginning of my career, and I'm happy that no matter, with everything going on in the country, with the lack of support from the government, because you can't expect that in a country like this, you just have to keep supporting yourself and making sure that your plans are valid and you can do it as long as you put your mind to it.
I just want to add something. You can see we talked about goal setting in the morning. Yeah. She wasn't here. Can you hear all what she said? It's all about what we discussed in the morning. All right, thank you very much.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting that as she walked in, Jimmy said something about me. And from what she said, I just want to add that in the early 90s, I was a designer of apparel in the US.
Oh, wow.
And my goal was that I was going to sell department stores. I would look at the stores and I would say, oh, if Amanda can be here, or General Cooper can be here, there must be a Jimmy here too. And it was an aberration that, you're coming from Africa. You that have been here for years as slaves and all that, did you see any name? Can you see any of our labels that was early 90s? And I said, okay, I'm going to show you. They hated me so much, and because of that hatred that I was feeling at that time, and like, how dare you come from like that Africa? Because in their head, we're jumping on trees here. I said I'm going to sell pennies. I sold JC pennies. I sold to department stores. My line was carried in Essence magazine, was carried in California, was carried in Georgia. And then they come around and start saying, oh wow, Jimmy. So we were walking around on the mall, and I was like, Jimmy, so I said, I have to show you. I am a born African woman. I can sort of a goal setting of focus. Thank you.
That is so amazing. Because of our time, any question for our guest speakers, for our panelists? All right. Any questions?
the question I actually want to ask, but because I actually take a longer time because I actually love everything I've listened to, but I'm saying this we are just trying to ask questions based on the challenge. So a lot of people, youths, people that have, goals and plans, and at the end of the day, a lot of factors that actually, shattered their dreams and everything. So how would you, I'm just saying in one sentence and maybe probably one word, how would you actually encourage such people? Because I know some of us are here that actually had a whole lot of great dreams and that, economic factors and different kind of factors setting and you started finding yourself where you don't want to be. Or probably you see that. I know it's not late, but we are learning from the greats. And we believe at least one word from you, one advice from you will actually change their mindset. So I would love maybe a word from everybody just to motivate the youths that are here that have their dream that believe their dream is actually becoming shattered.
Sorry, one more minute because of our time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I think it's been said here, and we go certain things also did it in the morning. Just stay focused. And have milestones, that you measure your successes by. So, in this time, I want to have achieved this. In this time, I want to have achieved this. In this time, I want to have achieved this. Stay focused, measure, keep count. That's saying that if we are not keeping score, we are only practicing. So keep score, stay focused, and you will get there. Of course, you must have a lot of belief in yourself, and trust in God.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
Thank you for that. So, number one is trust God. Because you get to a point where you don't understand what's going on and all that, challenges fall. Trust God, have a passion, and stay focused. Do you. Don't look at other people's thing and think, I want to be like, be you, don't do you, and trust God. Thank you.
Right, I would just say have a positive mindset and watch what you feed your mind, because it's what you feed your mind that will then direct you to where you want to go. So positive mindset, failure is not an option. If it doesn't work the first time, try it again and keep repeating.
Someone once said to me that, so when you wake up in the morning, look at the mirror and check what you see. And every time I look at the mirror, I always see myself. So I've learned over time that you need to always, like my sister said, have a good mindset and be positive. With me, the God factor is very important. As a Nigerian and African, we take God first. And I also speak loads of words of affirmation to myself. To do, you can do it. To do, this is what you achieve today. To do, you will make sales. To do, you will go beyond that goal. So I think they help. They give you a positive mindset to run the day. And also, I'm also not a victim of my circumstances or situation or environment. I don't blame the government. I don't blame the person next to me. As long as you're not my staff and I'm paying you for services, I won't blame you for whatever happens to me. So, because I believe I have to do the job first and then God and every other thing to close.
I am always very, very worried about advising the youth. I don't give good advice, but I will say this. You're a youth, you want to do something, you want to change something, look at exactly what your parents or grandparents of our generation are doing, and don't do it. Just do something different. That's how you make change. Because I've come back here to see things that those of us who left 35, 37 years ago, and they're still doing it. It's not going to change. So do something differently. But on a more serious note, if you want a life balance thing, talk to your bosses. Have a discussion. You may not get it, but you may get it. But just do something different, please.
Thank you very much, sir. There's a question from the audience which I would love one of the panelists to help us to answer. The question goes this way. When you have a lot of talents, how do you balance it? You know, a lot of talents. How do you balance yourself? You don't know what to do. I think this person is totally confused. He doesn't know what to do. Probably he has a lot of things on his, jotted to, a goal that, he has listed and he doesn't know where to go. How do you now balance it? And I think if I want to answer that question, I would say maybe that person wasn't here in the morning when one of our speakers was talking about different things. If you want to do something, do it. I think it was my CEO was telling this morning that you have a plan. Once you have a plan, you know what you like to do. And I think that is what this question is all about. I don't know if any other of our panels.
We have to look at Mr. Charlie.
What I would say is everyone's got many talents.
Yes.
Just develop two, three of them. Focus on 2, 3 of them. Use the others as hobbies. And then focus on 2, 3 of them. Or 1, 2, or 3. I don't think that's a big deal.
Yeah. Well, I also support what you just said, and if you have different talents, focus on them, but you never can tell which talent is going to work. With me, I mean, I studied psychology in school. I never thought I'm going to end up being a tailor. So, and aside being that, like, there's so many talents I also have as well. So you could actually discover your talent in your 40s. You could have like different talents. You're a comedian, you're a fashion designer, you're a musician, you're a tailor. I think you can still practice a bit of them and make some your hobby. At the end of the day, destiny has a way of throwing us into the best one that's going to work for us.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Because of our time, someone has said there's another question. What we're gonna do is that I'm gonna pop up my email. Please, any question because of our time, we still have a couple of things to cover. So just to buttress what they have said, I was one in that point. For example, like I said, I have in early childhood with business, early childhood with youth and community. I went back to university to do MSc Business Psychology. After that, I went back to do MBA International Human Resources Management. So then I went back, I have to do, career development practitioner. At the point I was thinking, okay, which one should I use? All this thing on my CV, what exactly? Then I have to focus on one or two. I said, the thing is I like helping people. In terms of CV, okay, I love doing that, I love helping people to get a job. So the most important thing is that look for the one that you have flow, that whenever you're thinking about it, you're doing it, you really love it. And then I think about it, I said, okay, I really love training and law. So now I'm combining the two. The first one is in terms of, helping people with the CV, doing recruitment and all those things. And the other one, what I love doing, and I can do this organized program for anyone. I don't really get tired. So think about it. Think about the one you see flow. When you do, you are happy, passionate about it, and you'll get it. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Because of the time, we need to move to the next one.
The Nigerian executive businesswoman, a passionate entrepreneur. She is the founder of Creative Touch and founder and creative director of 2207 by T-Bank.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Anyway, it's not the introduction. My name is everybody. All right, I noticed some points, but I know the time is really against us, so I'm just going to talk about my topic briefly, which is sorry, I'm always carrying my books. I'm not a typical newbie. So it's the impact of social media on the fashion industry and the corporate responsibility. I think this topic is targeted mostly to the youth, so because I'm sure a lot of people are not on social. Are you on social media here?
Of course we are.
Oh, really? Okay, great. Because I was a little bit skeptical that, are you sure your topic is going to work with everyone else? So I'm glad that we're in the same page.
Dinosaurs, you mean?
Oh, no, really, the wrong ones. Okay, so as we know, social media, right now, whether we like it or not, we're in the age of social media. Everybody is there. I see our grandmas, our daddies on TikTok doing this, doing different things and all. Even me, I'm still trying to get a grasp of social media. And I believe that in the next 10 years, most of the things we do would have to come from social media, would have to go through social media for validation. I tell my son every time that in my time, our parents wanted us to be doctors, lawyers, accountants. But there one time we never asked new all this Gen A, that what do you want to be? I want to be a content creator. I want to be a comedian. Footballers even go down. They want to be a comedian, they want to be a content creator, they want to be a dancer. And everything they want is actually valid because I have a lot of friends in the industry that are also in this field and they are doing exceedingly very well, amazingly very well. Our life is no longer limited to the traditional occupation we grew up with. So let me just talk briefly about social media. I'm actually like, I would say a product of social media. Social media has really helped me because I was able to grow my brand through social media. I started on social media, through social media, I had a plan. My plan was to be able to reach everybody far and wide. And it's not about just traveling to different countries, sitting down in my house, making good garments, and letting it reach the whole universe. And the only way you can do that is through social media. So the social media brand awareness is, you can use the social media to build your platform. Oh, I'm not just going around and around. We have the Instagram, we have TikTok, we have Facebook, and we have what we call the user-generated content, meaning your content that you build, that you do to build your page and also to navigate around social media. And with that, you can also use it to sell your product. I currently do not have, I'm building my website, and I can tell you that most of my clients are not even in Nigeria. I sell 90% of my product to people outside of Nigeria. And how am I able to do that? Through the power of social media by posting good content, quality pictures, talking about my product, having engagement on my platform to make sure that people can reach me, they can give me reviews. Now, before you can buy any product, you have to make sure that you reach through reviews as well too. So we have all these things that we have to leverage on. So I don't think we should still be, I think we should all grow with the system, grow with the fact that whether we like it or not, that is the only way out of whatever we have to do to succeed. And also, I also wrote down about marketing and sales and marketing. Marketing has gone beyond, marketing now is about it's gone beyond the TV commercials that we know, the radio jingles that we. The radio jingles too is very, very good. It's still part of social media. But the power of collaboration with influencers, that is very, very key. I'm a fashion designer, but I've influenced for a lot of brands, and I've collaborated with a lot of brands because they understand the power I bring, or they understand the visibility that I bring. So no matter what you're doing, be it you have enough people, you need an influencer to be able to bring it out there. It's not just about our skills now. You can see, it's not just about you being the best in your field. If you're the best in your field and you have no visibility, it's as good as dead because of the visibility that will sell your brand. So you can be like, I have a lot of, I tell people I'm the best, well, I won't say I'm the best fashion designer, but there are so many people that are well talented and knows the knowledge about the fashion more than me. But like I said, I've leveraged on the fact that I can go around social media, use good influencers that have far reach to be able to reach audiences. I was in China 2 weeks ago and I was shocked. I went for Canton Fair. It was literally like I was going for a photo shoot. Everywhere I go, Tolu, take a picture. I was shocked. I'm like, oh wow, what is going on here? My phone, even when he goes, but people stop him as well too. The power of social media, I think our parents don't understand this. Whatever you're selling, even if it's at home, put it there, you will sell. Just make sure that you collaborate with someone. Make sure that you have a good speaker that can influence your brand. Talk about it, make it organic, and you will be so shocked. I've seen people make millions. I have a product, it is not any, maybe she's making money from somewhere else. No. I know I have to look the back, I have to put out the content, I have to do what everybody is doing to make sure we get the money. So my whole point is, with your skills, with your expertise, your knowledge, please kindly combine it with social media to get to where you want to go to. Don't be like, oh, I can't do this. If you have to jump, kindly jump. If you have to talk, kindly talk. If you have to make a jump, please do it. Please, we cannot neglect the power of social media. It's very important, and that's all I just have to say. Thank you.
It's a great privilege that we're in this platform with her. My simple comment.
Oh, thank you, sir.
Can I make you my social influencer? have two products
That's a question, sir.
which I've not been able to package. Using you as my social influencer, I know it could make it.
No problem, sir. My PA is there, she will share contact with you and we'll take it
Oh,
from there.
Did you just hear that? The power of networking. Oh, your future there, future you good. Yeah, so this is where it starts. I just said something the other time. I said leverage on your. That's what it just is.
Thank you so much. My question was not my question, but I don't want to be selfish. I'm just thinking, how can we encourage or support our elderly grandmas, into social media? How can we go about it? Because they are all now with their daddy and mommy. What do you think? Oh, you know what's going to social media?
You can see that our parents are very active on TikTok than we are. That's like a total different planet for life. And people, I'm sure that their movie will be on TikTok. So I'm going to but TikTok, I know my auntie works on TikTok. They are active on TikTok. Every parent, yes. However, you say even if you're not an elderly, you're still young. There's something you still need to employ a content creator or a social media manager. Like I said, I'm very active on social media, but I'm not active. I find it very. I don't find it easy to do, to even go around. And people just believe to do you enjoy it, but no, I don't. I'm only doing it because it's a necessity. It's my platform to sell my products. So and now that you have to see it as a job. Social media is actually a job. It is not fun. You need to see it as a job. Yes. My younger sister here, she's a part-time social media creator. She works as a social media. She gets 120,000 every month. Being a social media, working as a part-time for a nail station, a nail studio. So it's a job. So for our parents, if they have any product they want to sell, what they can do is to employ someone or start organically. You can get just maybe like a cousin or a family member to start a social media platform for you. Just put your product. What you need is a good camera phone. Clean your camera, because our parents don't clean their cameras when they're talking. When they want to make pictures, they just take any blurry pictures. No, you are your product. Clean your camera very well, take good pictures, put it on social media, and do your sponsored ads. So even if you cannot afford influencers, keep posting, your algorithm will change, your reach will also change as well. The more you post, the more your reach means where your content is going to go to. The more your reach keeps increasing. And at the point when you start making money, you can now do a sponsored ad. Meaning, if you wanted to reach about 20,000 people, you pay about maybe 15,000 naira, it reaches them and it makes sales. I still do the same thing to despite the fact that I'm on social media. So it's a job that we have to keep employing people for.
Thank you very much. She's a real estate consultant with 15 years experience now on video. She previously, Spotlight Property Development and Co Limited. That's a company, I guess, yes, I believe. So she's that powerful. Please all welcome to
Thank you very much. My senior colleague that came earlier actually spoke about real estate, so he has talked about most of the things I have here. But I'm just going to go straight to the point of opportunities that we have in property investment. Somebody may be asking, why do I need real estate? I know most of us here, maybe half of us have properties, but we are going to have to delve into why do I need these properties? What else can I do with property? A client called me last month and said, when I wanted to help me market my property. I have 8 flats in Ekorodu. I was actually happy, oh yeah, I'll go there. She now said it's along Shagamu Expressway. Oh, why did you go to Shagamu? Because now we have to start looking at how do we get the money back? What kind of tenants are we going to get there? How do I even go there? As in, so when you make decisions to invest in real estate, you have to be strategic. You have the money to invest. Invest in something that you can recoup Then it now depends. Why I didn't really talk about complain was that some people don't actually invest in property to get the money back. So your investments will be for social reasons, like some of our people, they want to have a house in the village, they build palatial mansion, and nobody lives there. So for them, it's not about the money, it's about the prestige. So when they look at the house, and they'll say, that is Mr. Alagaja's house. So not everybody is investing for money. Some are investing for prestige, some are investing for social reasons, some are investing for profit. That is where you as a developer, you have money, I want to make my money, so let me quickly put it into the market and get my money back. Some are investing for cash flow. You want that, okay, by the time I'm retired, I want something to fall back on. That every month or at a particular time, I get money into my account. Some for economic, social needs, for some people it gives security, some political power. And like my senior colleague mentioned earlier, it serves as an edge against inflation. Because the way things are going now, rents are also increasing. So by the time you have tied money down in property like 10, 15 years ago, you know that the rent you'll be getting now is not something to, something that you can worry about. Then going into this real estate, it is not child's play because it involves a lot of money. When you are building a house, we know how much construction materials cost now. So most people don't have this money at once. So I'm going to talk about sources of real estate finance. You mentioned some, but I have some listed here. Your savings and personal funds. Over the years, you could have been putting some money out of your salary, your business. So, okay, I want to use this money to build a house, put tenants there and all that. So you could be saving from your salary, and that means all the expenses that you have. It's kind of really, really hard to take out that money. Because you have to talk about food, you have to talk about children's education, so many things are competing for those funds. So the savings might not work all the time, especially when you are going into big time real estate. There's a mortgage financing. When you walk into mortgage banks, you have the likes of Union Homes, so many mortgage banks, I don't mention names, that can give you access to finance. You just give them the title of the property as collateral, they give you the money, and you can pay back in equal installments over some years. Then we have partnership and private equity. That means we can go into JV projects. JV projects, that's joint venture. When you walk up to someone that has money, okay, I have this land, can you finance? Or the person that has finance and you have land. So you can go into JV. Then there's purchaser financing, where the sellers actually allow you to buy and they finance it, making sure that you have arrangements on how to pay them back. There's crowdfunding. You have your people, according to social media now, there's a way people can always raise money for you when you know that you have a project at hand. There's real estate investment trust for investors. At times you have active investors, you have passive investors. Active are the ones that get involved in the day-to-day running of how the property is managed. They are the ones that think about something is wrong with the roof, letting rents and things like that. They are passive investors that once they put in money into a property, it's like buying shares. You're buying that. Like you're buying shares into a company that deals with property, so they pay you your money at regular intervals. So it depends on what kind of investor you want to be. Then there's government programs too, government funding. For you as an investor, you don't have enough money, but you have the vision. Maybe like you want to go into mass housing. How do I do this? There's a provision from the Federal Mortgage Bank that you can get ETL loans, that's Estate Developers Fund. They give you at a percentage, and they will even give those that are buying, they will give your subscribers loans to buy through the National Housing Fund. So this has been working. People have been buying into estates like this. So even if you don't have the money, once you have your equity participation, you pay to them, whether it's off plan or started building, at the end of the day, you get your property. Now let us go into investment opportunities that we have in this real estate. You can go into buying raw land, virgin land. You don't necessarily have to buy and do what every other person is doing. When you buy virgin land, what do you want to use it for? You can go into agriculture. Look at the way things are, look at how market prices are in terms of food. Let's say Lagos, everybody wants to build, residential and all that. Imagine 30% of Lagos was into agriculture. Are we going to be screaming that there's no tomato I went to the street and there's no, you understand? You have to wait for our monkeys to bring, sorry to use that, to bring them ram. Imagine we have branches here in Lagos. Are we going to wait for them to bring ram? Chicken now for salad, chicken is like 17,000 to 20,000. Imagine we have, we have so many people. You have so many people that are into farming. These things will not be expensive because if everybody is doing it, who will be buying? You get it? So we focus on what everybody is doing. Nobody's really, most people are not looking at what will bring money. So I think when you get raw land, you go into agriculture as an investor and you know what you're doing, you actually really get your money back. You can go into sports. Some people buy raw land for maybe like golf courses, sports centers. People need to relax, people come there, you'll make your money. What about recreation? We work Monday to Saturdays, we are just so busy. We need to take time out for leisure, for recreation. Weekends, you need to take your children out. Where do you want to? In Lagos now, if you say you're going for recreation, everybody is going to be at ShopRite or something. There are other places which you have so many centers. People will come. People want to relax. People will actually come. So we need to start looking at these other investment opportunities that we have. Tourism. Okay, I mentioned leisure. Leisure, most of the leisure centers you have, maybe like you have beer parlors. Women might want to relax. So we should be looking at so many things, so having ideas on what to use our real estate for that will bring in money. Then secondly, residential. That's what most people are doing because we have this demand for housing. So many people are coming into Lagos. The land mass is small. You have limited houses, so rents will go up. When you have like 4 or 5 people competing for one small unit, the landlord will tell you it's no more 100, it's not 500. So the first person to pay will get it. So when you look into this sector, how can I make, because know how you will make your money. Then going into this sector, you have to be strategic. You don't just go and say, okay, that place is cheap, and you buy it. If you buy it and you build it to that place, what kind of tenants are you going to attract? Are there businesses there? Because at the end of the day, if you not say the land is cheap and you buy it, you might not get your money. Okay, maybe just say, okay, maybe it's for my children. But when you have money and you're serious as an investor, you have to be strategic. You don't just throw the money around. You have to see, okay, am I doing it for profit? Should I just sell and get my money back, or it's going to be for a while and my children, pass it on to the children? Then look at commercial real estate. My mentioned the offices and the block of shops. In fact, in Lagos now, Lagos Island, when they tell market women that they want to demolish, before they even start building, they will tell them to bring millions. They will even use their money, use their money to build those shops. So when you have money to spend, or you want to go into investments like that, you need to really be strategic and make sure that you are getting your money back. What about industrial? There's industrial land uses. Because some people don't look at this. Warehousing. You only build warehouse. You are renting a warehouse now, and they say, something big warehouse, you know that you are making a lot of money. Because if you have the Lagos port here, people are bringing goods in. Where are they taking them to? When you go to market areas, you see all these sellers take like 5 or 6 shops to store their goods. But when you are strategic about real estate and you look into that sector too, you will get your money. Warehousing, manufacturing. So any business you are going to do, there's no how you will not think of real estate. So you have to be strategic as an investor before you put your money into it. Okay, I put it that. Due to rural migration, people will always come in. So there will always be demand for residential and commercial properties. So that's a sure way for you as an investor to get your money back. Then the government of the day is focused on improving infrastructure. If you look around Lagos now, there's hardly any part of Lagos that is not being touched when it comes to infrastructure. So when you tap into this and you buy, you know that for sure you will get your money back. And because the government cannot do everything in terms of providing housing, private developers to liaise with the government, have a PPP, that's public-private partnership projects. That government will give them land and they will build and they can sell to people at a cheaper rate. Then to make housing easier, mortgages are created, like we talk about the NHM. You can get NHF loan, I think it's still 6%, and you can pay for a period of 30 years. So if you have estates that are selling through NHF, you can be sure of getting a house that you don't have to worry about payment. That's when once you get a salary, you pay a certain percentage every month. But when it comes to real estate, there are risks involved. Like you also mentioned the country, these are the risks involved. Government regulations, change in policies can affect you. Because you feel that this area, maybe like you did or you have commercial properties there, they might change it, okay, change the land use. And you know that after some time you cannot get your, it will affect your inflow. There's insecurity, insurgency in some parts of the country. So if you now say, okay, maybe because land is cheap somewhere, and you go and buy the land and you can't go there, or you heard anybody that goes there to farm or something, they cut their head, it will affect your investment. So you have to be very careful. The high cost of renting, we have mentioned that. Dealing with contractors, suppliers, if you are not strategic about investment and you buy in some places, they will cheat you. Because by the time you send them money, you can't be there all the time. You send them money to buy you 10 bags of cement, they will buy 5. And you will see buildings collapse. And you say you are giving them money, but because you are not there, they will connive, everybody connive, and at the end of the day, you run at a loss. So you have to be very, very careful. Then the next to getting bad tenants. Because you cannot know, like they say, you don't know a bad child from the day you give birth to the child. Tenants will come looking so responsible, but at the time they come in, they start giving you problems. So those are the things, risk involved. That you are saying that by the time I'm 50, I want to retire, I'll be getting my money. You put somebody there, you had a job when they came in. Maybe after 2 years, lose the job, you cannot get money again. You understand? So you have to be very, very careful when you are making these decisions. Then land ownership disputes, fraudulent sales by wrong owners. You buy land today, and you are sure that okay, you bought from the right person. Somebody comes out 5 years later and says it's my land. You start dragging, you lose the money. So you have to be very, very careful. Then the high cost and rising cost of building materials. Every day, building materials increase. So if you have you've done your feasibility and viability and you're sure that okay, 5 billion within you have given the timeline in 2 years I should finish. If you are not careful and you don't manage that project well, you will run at a loss. But what people do to cushion that effect is if you are selling to people, maybe the first set of people that buy in like 3 months, they pay a certain amount. The next 6 months, it won't be the same price anymore. You understand? And as you as the developer, you have to be very, very careful. Well, it will erode your profits. So it's as if you are just working for nothing. After shouting for suppliers to come and all that, and you realize that you can't even buy a car or buy a shoe, even from working and shouting for money to that. So you have to be very, very careful. Then look at bad road network, lack of power supply. Some areas they've not, in fact, running from the national grid to that is no light for the past 30 years, and you go there to buy land. That means you want to keep it there till infinity. And I have so many clients that bought land some years back, they live abroad, they now came out, let's go and check this place. By the time they get there, you will see that the homeowners have sold half of the land or even everything. In fact, we lost one in the code, and we kept going and going. By the time we got there, we went to be survey. If there was something to reason, where is the land now? Houses everywhere. And you are coming with it's my home. Let's go meet Bale. We got to Bale is dead. And the people that so many stories. So that means his money is gone. You understand? Who are we going to hold now? If those that sold it to him are dead. Do you want to, even if you want to buy it, are they going to pay you? They don't know you because I'm only sold to them. So when you are making decisions like this, you have to be very, very careful. So, but all these risk factors can be mitigated when you do your due diligence and you obtain the right information. Then you do your market research. You have then, as an investor, you have to be strategic, like I said. What kind of markets are you looking into? Are you looking at Lagos, Ibadan, Port Harcourt? You have to know this. And even in Lagos, some people don't like island. So no matter how much they have, they don't want to build on the island. It's mainland. So you have to be sure of what you want before you go in there. Then understand market patterns, the age group. or people in that neighborhood? What kind of kids? Are there old people? Are there people that will buy? You know, you don't just go and build duplexes when what people need is 2 bedrooms. Because now, if you build 2 bedrooms, mini flats, and duplexes, I can tell you that the mini flats, the self-contained, they will go faster. And the 3 bedroom will be there. You understand? Because they will tell you that, you know, I just want to. So you have to be strategic, you have to do your market research to know what kind of properties will move faster before you invest. Then you look at demand and supply patterns, you look at the rental yields. You see that in the last 10 years, it is still the same 300 they've been paying. Something is wrong somewhere. But when you are there, you know that in the next 5 years, I don't know, I can get times 2. You have to really understudy the market before you put money into it. So in conclusion, investing in real estate is very good, but you have to put in the right strategies so that you don't regret it. Because I can tell you that when you invest in real estate, it is not something that dies with you. You know, when you go, your children, because I know that even with the fact that I'm working, you know, the fact that most of them are working, we have policies that parents are put in place that by the time they collect rent and credit our accounts, you'll be like, you know, it's so when you do that for your children too, it's something that will still keep praying for you. So it's just a way for you to build generational wealth, and it's not something that you take with child's play. So where do you start from? Talk to an estate surveyor or a property consultant so you don't make mistakes. Thank you very much.
It's nice to be here. Like many of you, I'm very tired now. It's almost time to go. But I have been asked to talk about benefits of recognition and rewards. Before I do that, I have a very short story to tell you. A few years ago, I was at the kind of my career then, I was standing in front of a group of people to talk. I was, and I still am, educator and a trainer. And when I did that, there was an inspector in the classroom with me. And I suddenly realized that what I was going to teach them was not relevant to what they needed to know. So if I mess up, the whole institution messes up. And I was a small organ there at that time. So a lot was resting on my shoulders. But I took the decision that probably only somebody with Nigerian DNA could do. I picked up the piece of paper that contained everything I was to teach them, and I ripped it off, saying this is no longer relevant. I'm going to have to come up with new things on my feet. Many people thought that was a career-ending decision, but it turned out to be actually one of the best ones I made in my career. I'm not a slave to circumstances. And the reason why I came up with that story is that I sat down there very quietly for a long time. And the PowerPoint that I'd created, I don't know if there's a virus on my laptop or whatever, the whole thing just disappeared. So while all of you are having lunch and doing that, I was typing new ones, new things to create. I did not say, even my friend Yolanda was sitting beside me, look at his mouth. He did not know anything that was going on. So I'm going to do the same thing that I always do. I don't put myself under pressure. Nothing is going to kill me except death.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. Benefits of recognition and rewards. Now, if I am very... Oh, I have a very bad habit. When I'm standing in front, I want to be the only person standing. So when people walk in, I'm going to be quiet and let them settle down before I go on. Maybe it's because I'm not very tall. I don't know. Okay, that's me. You know the guy. Before we talk about benefits of recognition and reward, I'm going to pick you up, please, guys. This is going to be like a lecture room. And I own this space right now. So if you're not concentrating, I'm going to embarrass you. I don't mean to. So because I do it sometimes, I go on my phone. What is a benefit? When you hear the word benefit, what comes to your mind?
Gain.
Oh, ooh, I didn't call you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
So what comes to your mind when you talk about benefit?
Competition.
Compensation. Gain, compensation. So nice synonyms. So I'm not going to, you may write things down. You can write things down. As a matter of fact, you should write things down. So it's a gain. I saw fancy notebooks and pens. Make use of them, please. So, a gain from something. If you know the gain from something, what's the point of doing it, yeah? Unless you're doing it for charity. Now, this topic fits well to those of you who are already employers. Those of you who have people that work for you or who you are the boss of. But it can also be made relevant for those of you who have people ahead of you. I told you I don't give advice because my advice is just totally out of this world. If you listen to some of these things and you hear some of them that you think is relevant, go to your boss or your employer, pull a seat, sit down, and talk to them. They won't fire you. That's one of the biggest things I realized. I know it's easy to fire in Lagos. I know. I know it's very easy. But still, some of your guys will be surprised that, and probably listen to you. So, go to your employer or employee and they can discuss that. Why would you want to do anything that would benefit your employer? After all, you pay them an agreed salary already. Why would you? I have some tasks for you to do right now. Imagine yourself to be an employee. So forget about Oga, or forget about, we are all same level. What would you want as a reward? You see that number 6 is not relevant there. It's one of my quick typing that puts 6 there. So discard that. I'm not saying you should think of 6 things. Think of one thing. If you were an employee, what do you want as a benefit? I'm going to throw it open, and if you want to call out, I'll take it. If you don't call out, I'll call you. So, sir, you want to start again? Oh, you're ready for it.
I'm not ready.
Okay.
So I was writing something that you spoke about now.
Okay, I'll give you a few seconds. Imagine you are an employee, and you are talking about rewards or benefit of reward. I got myself confused. You're talking about a reward. What kind of reward would you want?
Oh yeah. One reward.
Please, you don't have to stand up. You're taller than me.
I won't answer your question again. I have to give it back to you to each one. Sorry. So reward. I would love salary increase.
Salary increase. That's the natural thing.
Yes. Recognition.
What kind of recognition?
For example, if I'm really doing something, I want my manager, my boss to actually acknowledge that.
Acknowledgement.
Yeah, acknowledgement, yeah.
That's good. I'm going to take 2 more.
Praise.
Praise is also kind of acknowledgement.
Relevancy.
I want recommendation.
What do you mean by that?
For you to be a reliable employee, relevant employee.
No, you are the employee right now.
Yes.
You want to make yourself relevant.
Yes.
How would you make yourself relevant?
Being naturally almost person in the organization that you can call on today, he will do that for you. He's readily.
You don't want to be a slave because I'll use.
Not at all, but then the employer is confident that if you give today that assignment,
reliability,
that's
trustworthiness, and things
yes,
like that.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to take that.
What about me? I would like to give to something that I will use to remember that.
Somebody said salary increment, gifts,
Yeah.
praise, acknowledgement,
Reliability.
reliability. So,
I would like to say acknowledgement, but in another way. I would appreciate if my employer can give me a letter or a documentation affirming that I got some benefits for doing the farming or for doing the fertilizer.
I like that. Because on Monday, you could get that letter, which you can file and keep for yourself. And then on Thursday, you do something wrong on the file, at least you still have the letter, which you can use for other employment. That is a very good one. I like that. So, right now, you are an employee. You've just listed some of the things that are given. Companies already do those things. We know that. Has anybody thought about something that companies don't give, what employees may actually want or like, or they might be too shy, scared to ask for? You see, the benefits that people want, they all don't have to be monetary. What about, has anyone thought about banking forgiveness? Like you hold a bank. So every time you do good or you praise, they put it in the bank. If you do anything wrong, like don't make to work, you don't get a query. But you take out from your bank. Do you know when Monopoly, when you play that game Monopoly, get out of jail card? It's a game, isn't it? So sometimes, if you have a bank of goodwill, so that you save it, when you now have a problem, you can go to your bank and take it out. Okay? Sorry. Remember, I have about 10 things saved up. When I use one of them, it's an idea, it's a thought. So forgiveness, or you can call it a bank of forgiveness. One thing I like about us in this culture is we know how to beg. No matter what we do, even if we kill somebody, we want to beg our way out of it. Right? It might be, you hit my car and you're telling me it might be. I'm not angry. The only thing I'm angry at is I'm out in the rain talking to you. But you are begging me not for that, you're begging me not to repair the car. So that's pretty ashamed, right? You can write this down because some of you may find this useful in future. I am not going to give you the list that you're used to, that you expect. I'm going to give you the list of one or two that you probably have never thought about, or companies don't think about. And I've been employed before, and I wanted them. That's forgiveness is one of them, bank of forgiveness. How about flexibility? You know, we all still do kind of like 9-to-5 work here in Lagos or in Nigeria. We know about, I was thinking earlier when we were talking about work-life balance, we know the theory. We can write a book, but we don't practice it. What about this one about flexible working system? I know we do hybrids, some days at home, so what about real flexibility? In other words, don't ever tell me I'm late to work. You want me to do 9 to 5? Forget it. You want me to do 36 hours or 40 hours a week? Be flexible. So if anything happens on the way and I'm late and I get to work at 10 o'clock, then I don't have to close at 5 o'clock. Or maybe for my own sake, I have to come to work on Saturday when everyone's going to Owambe. I don't know. Flexibility. Nobody uses the term latecomer anymore in the Western world, as far as I know. Do your hours and go. So what about giving your employees that benefit?
When you're running late, anything can happen on your way to work.
Totally.
And if you pick, what I normally do, if I'm running late, I pick my goal. I stop at the shoulder and, I put my office and
As you should do.
Look, I'm running late. My manager will tell me, take your time, Lola.
But that's UK.
That's UK. Not like
In Nigeria,
Don't tell you go back home.
It's not just that.
go back home because you are running running late.
Okay, sorry. Can let me tell you something. There are some people at workplace and they see them as the go-to person. Whereby if they are not at work, the business does not work. They must just be there. So no matter how the level of positive or how beneficiary they are to the company, and they feel okay, fine, they deserve some benefits and some accolades, they will still want them at work.
Wow.
I know I want people at work, but
Because
I'm talking about
like, for example, like the banking structure here, there are some people in the bank that when they are not especially those are in the operation.
what about if the person dies?
The work comes in. They replace.
Okay, so but somebody will.
But Nigeria, what I'm trying to say is they squeeze the hell out of like till you are dead.
Yeah.
Yes,
Oh,
till
yeah.
you are dead.
I think I want to wonder, the most important thing is that I think Nigerian, I think it's high time we need to be educated.
Yes.
For example,
That's the purpose of
awareness,
this game.
we really need this to put this down here. So I could remember a year past that when my husband was working, so I think he was late to work like maybe a couple of times or something like that, which was having an health issue. So which the manager or whatever, you don't care to know, just come up, come and do your work. So unknowingly to this boss, this man has passed away over the weekend. So, and on Monday, he had prepared the sack letter query and everything. So sending the sack letter or all those things, preparing for to the dead man. So it's that time we kind of like, what my sister just talked about, if you're running late, you pick up, things could happen on the way.
Yeah, but again, I still go back to the benefit of flexibility. So I'm supposed to be at work at 9 o'clock. For traffic reasons or personal reasons, I don't get to work until 10:30. 10:30, I am at work. Of course, you have to do all the protocol. Don't phone 1 minute before 9 o'clock. Come on. At 8:30, you're going to know if you're going to be late or not. Phone, plenty of time. So,
Yes, I think this issue of flexibility, we are taking a lot of absolute assumption on productivity. The concept of work in Nigeria, for example, reporting to work, particularly, I'm sorry, for the government circle, it's attendance that matter. Productivity is very, very low. Whereas in the private sector, you can always account for your minute-to-minute activity. And that's why it's so, when we were discussing about taking holiday, over the years, I've worked a lot with on the international development organizations where we have expatriates working. They come to work properly at 8. When it's time for them to go on break, they're out and they're back exactly on time. And when it's 5, they're out, they're already playing golf or all this. But we will know because our productivity is questionable. We can still be there at 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock. But the effectiveness of our 8 o'clock may not have even been as that. So we are taking an assumption that productivity is important. It's important for us to accept that flexibility rule.
You see, you have actually nailed it on the head by saying that attendance is probably more important to us here.
Yes, productivity.
Than productivity. And that is why, if you are setting up, or if you have a problem, because we take childcare, we take all those things for granted around here. But those are the things that your child can wake up in the morning and not feeling well. Your child doesn't go to school, you don't go to work. There's nothing anybody can do to you. Your child is ill. But here, we can leave the child at home. But what about if you start the new generation? Again, remember the advice I gave earlier. Do something different. Don't do it the way your parents and grandparents have been doing it. What about you walk up to your line manager or boss or whatever and say, listen, my child, today was feeling very ill, therefore I took the chance, went to school. I don't even know that they send sick children back home from school in this country.
They won't even let you
When
stay
the
at work.
parent is not even home.
One of the things that actually bother me is that it is an international employer. They have not developed those practices in here. They have brought, because over there are labor laws. It's not that the government or the people are nice. The labor laws in that country guarantees your freedom, your rights. And it bothers me that after all these years, we do not have those laws enacted in this country, or, like I'm always corrected, those laws are there, but they are not being
Activated.
either activated or respected. One of the funny ones is I'm hearing stories that some state governments in this country are not paying the minimum wage of the 30,000 naira. It's a criminal offense. I don't understand. Don't make laws like you think you just make law. And people would, and you claim your rights, even if you suffer. And that's another thing about Nigerians. We don't like to suffer. We want other people to suffer for us. These are some of the ones that are easy to come up with. Retention will be great. You want to stay in that company. Loyalty. Nobody wants to destroy a good culture. Have you ever thought about that thing? Employee of the month.
Yeah.
That's a very common thing, but do you know what it does or it could do? Also, you are the employee of the month this month. It will create positive. The reason why I put that positive memories was, it's not memories 55, it's just memories. It was because Shola was talking about his own memory from GSK. You will remember it. And if you have those memories, when you become an employer, you put them into practice. That's creating a new culture, creating a new country. And it's not going to be the president that is doing it.
To get all those things. Subsequent month, I won again.
Logical.
Third month, I won. So that fetches me to be human resource manager of the organization for 4 years. Another person was like, how do you do it? I said, well, I don't know. I'm just doing it because I was kind of like.
I like the fact that they give you a generator, you said.
Yes.
And
I'm still used to today.
all this NEPA thing was not your own problem.
Oh.
That's nice. That is nice. That is nice.
So,
I'm going to go straight to why those things are dangerous. Even though the topic is benefits, right? And we all think of the benefits. Have you ever thought of the disadvantages, the dangers in all these benefits? Because there is a danger. If you work with me, you win it the first time, you win it the second time, maybe I'm going to hurt you. Or maybe I go to the ritual man to do something to you. I'm not saying it happens, but I'm saying it can happen. So we have to be very careful about what we give as benefits. If it's a winner-takes-all situation, it can be actually demotivating. If one person, I will put a rule in there, you can't win more than once or twice in a year. Because getting a reward that is like equivalent to your salary or more, I wouldn't support that. That's me personally. A generator is an expense, or was it when generators were very cheap?
2012. I was 2012.
And you're still using the generator till now? What's the brand?
That big generator, I see something, IMA or something. That big generator.
Okay, keep it well, because generators are very expensive.
Now it's almost 1 million now, that generator.
Okay. So, seriously, I want us to recount. We're talking about things that are not usual. I talked about, let's call it the forgiveness bank. Remember that?
Yeah.
We're talking about flexibility within possibilities. What else did we talk about? Again, the number ones are easy.
Yeah, morale. Boosting the morale.
The picture.
We all are paid for the employee.
Exactly. The one that we say they can overthrow you, but they can't overthrow the others.
Yes.
Just put the picture in there, and when you come in, you just look at it like, that's me, like that. It's really, really, see, it's not going to cost much, and it will boost people's confidence. It will boost people's, I don't know, everything. And don't forget about memories that it will create on the employee. And they will move on sometime in future, and they will remember GSA, or remember Priority Serve, or remember wherever else.
You talked about if a child is running late, of course, you will actually tell them, no, sorry, my child is not feeling well. Of course, over there in the Western world, yes, you know, but there's accommodation for it. So how do we incorporate that to help our society here in Nigeria?
Two things are missing in my experience back home. I don't know the laws that our lawmakers make. The United States, the United Kingdom, or Europe, they are not kind people. Laws are enacted, and then the politicians have to follow the laws. Now, all these things that I'm really surprised, to be honest, because I feel many of us, if we are not well traveled, we watch all those movies, we see what happens in there, and then we still don't translate it into our daily life. Information also. Honestly, some of the other slides I was preparing for some other talk, I was on this road. I used to call it Airport Road, but they call it Mobolaji Johnson Road in Ikeja. I was held in traffic there one day, and I saw this sign thing that says, no streets hawking, no this, no that, no that. And it's so dirty. It was barely legible. And right under it, I saw, I'm not exaggerating, but 20 or 30 people selling stuff. Yeah. And I'm thinking, no one reads this thing.
They read.
But they don't care.
Those who don't read, they only recognize if they notice a car vehicle, you see them do Ben Johnson.
I did not know that there was a law like that in Lagos, that you cannot, and yet you, and I really don't. We stop by and buy things from them. If we're not buying, they won't be selling. And yet we go on and blame the governor or the president, when we are the ones that are undermining the laws. They say no street trading. Have you seen this other one? Don't go on
The box.
Oh, no, don't even talk about driving. Nobody knows how to drive in Nigeria. Forget about that. Keke, motorcycle. The government says don't use it. And then you get our own people getting on top of it, using it. Why do we say they don't make laws? They make laws and we break the laws. I'll help them to break the laws. I don't understand. If we don't do something different from what mom and dad did, we will remain the same. Seriously. We will remain the same. I am not the most law-abiding person in the world, but I am aware that I live in a country where you break the law, there are consequences.
So, yeah.
So,
just to add to what Madam said, you spoke about SMART earlier.
Yes.
And honestly, I work with NEPA for such a long time. I know you don't want to hear the word.
You're not nice people.
You see, that's why I don't introduce myself to people. Now, what am I saying? What am I saying? When PSN was bought over by private company, we started. Okay, let me say NEPA. I didn't want to repeat NEPA. That's why I said PSN. Now, after the so after the bought over, private people came, and of course, what was on our mindset or our head was reputed, reprogrammed, and we pick a lot of things from these people because they want productivity. How does that happen? Awareness, training.
Exactly.
So madam, if you want to bring about change on what you are seeing today, you got to now start talking to the right people. You might not use more than one place, maybe Lagos, maybe an organization in Lagos. By the time you take this idea to them and it enhances their productivity. It will now start going viral. And before you know it, people will start imbibing the culture.
Let me tell you another way that's easier. That's very true. Thank you for that. We all have a smartphone, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
How many people use the smartphone to find out proper information rather than the Instagram information, or you know what I mean?
Social media.
Yes. Sorry, fake news, fake news. Somebody was asking me just yesterday, we were just talking, and they saying, yeah, herbivores, like cows or goats, they're always chewing. What is it about that? I said, oh yeah, I did this in school.
Chewing the cord.
Chewing the cord. I said, oh, it's because they have, initially I said they have 4 stomachs. I don't know how many of you did a little bit of science in school. The omasom, bomasom, and I couldn't remember the last 2 days.
Rumen.
The rumen and reticulum. I didn't want to show up because I only. Okay, but I couldn't remember the other names. I went straight on Google, and I learned it. Just say, yeah. If you pick up your Google, the next time you see somebody on the street who wants to sell you something, Google say, is it legal to buy on Lagos streets? Also, I don't know how you put it. Just Google those things. You'll be surprised at how much you will learn about your environment. Not if you want to spy on somebody, not if you want to know the exchange rate. Just simple, everyday information.
They have to write application. And the application, you say, I'll be loyal, I'll be obedient, I'll be strict. And when employed, that's an employee. Then to the employer, for let me say 2-3 years, this application with the employee still continue to maintain what he has written as application is concerned.
Probably no, sir, because that person will have been frustrated. No, but that's not unique to this country. It's human. You go there with the good spirits.
Yeah.
They frustrate you.
Yeah.
You become like a bicycle. So it's not your fault. But there are some who go there and just take it for granted. There are some who go to nice companies. And have you ever worked with people who all they ever think about is how to get one over the system? Like, oh, this is working well. How can I gain from it? Personal gain. So if you want to work for a company, work for a team. If you want to work for yourself, set up your own company. It's as simple as that.
Okay, a question. Okay, we have a question from
You can't go here too.
Okay.
I can go, but you're asking me not to go.
Yes,
Thank you. Speak good English.
So
you're funny. Okay, I'm listening.
So, seriously, I mean, the new thinking around reward, is good. But we're still here. And I agree we have to do things different, But we're still here today. In this climate today, if you're asking somebody to do a bank for forgiveness, I could do it, but I doubt if you would ask a Glo, a Makadenuga Glo, or a Dangote. And they're big. They should have structure, to do a bank for forgiveness. That's asking a lot. And I can tell you from experience, because I worked with. And that's why I said some other part of my life that I don't want to remember, some of those things that I worked. You can't even go on holiday.
Yeah. Well, those are slave drivers.
So you start talking about bank of forgiveness.
I think some of those things that we talk about, even the flexibility thing, well, it can be a whole state or country policy or big company policy. They can also start with departmental policies. They can start with small businesses. And then it can go up. I am not unaware I'm sorry to say this, I am not unaware of the fact that we, the people, are more likely than most other people to undermine such things. Look, one of the things that those of us who've been privileged to live abroad, one of the things we say is, there is nothing that happens in Nigeria that doesn't happen abroad.
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
No evil, no bad, no good. And the difference is, the percentage of people who are going to do it here is way just too much.
Yeah, that's it.
There is nothing. We see people drive on the wrong side of the. I was saying to somebody one day, if you drive on the wrong side of the road in England, I don't know Scotland, you will find somebody who is as sane as me or even saner that will deliberately hit you.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And then you will have to explain to the police what your car is doing there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
If you find somebody, have you seen how many cars I see on Lagos Street without number plates? If you don't have number plates, you cannot be insured. If you're not insured, you're breaking so many rules.
Thank you so much. Wow, it's been a great day, and I've actually learned a lot today. So I want to use this opportunity because of our time is past 5 already to say thank you to every one of you that that are present here. Thank you so much. Without you, there won't be any of this training. So I really appreciate you. I acknowledge you. I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I say thank you so much. Thank you. And again, we have a couple of feedback here. We're definitely going to work on it. Couple of it is that the location that is a bit difficult for people to locate. Definitely we're going to work on that when we're planning the next one. So people actually say, the day is too short. Is it possible for us to maybe have it as a 2 days so that we'll have enough time? So definitely every feedback we have here today, definitely the team are going to sit together again to review it. And by God's grace, next year is going to be better and better. Thank you so much, everyone.